everyone. Welcome back to Money Making Mamas. It's been a hot minute since we've recorded. I'm Nancy Wallace Lobbs, one of the co-founders of Money Making Mamas,
Mm-hmm.
and I am joined by
Kelcie Leica.
who also happens to be my daughter.
Yes.
So, and you're also a founder. So,
Mm-hmm.
okay, Kelsey, this is episode 21.
Mm-hmm.
We have taken a break,
Yes.
a little bit longer than we anticipated.
Yeah.
So, I think this episode's going to be about catching up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Catching up to the audience. And, you know, I think maybe we should recap, like, what does Money Making Mamas about? Like, what our story is. What really it's about your story, right?
Right.
So, just kind of a briefly tell everybody why we have Money Making Mamas.
Yeah. So, sorry, I thought we were going a different direction for a second, but okay.
That's okay. We'll get back there. So.
Okay. Well, yeah, so for those that don't know, I have two little babies and 3 and 2 years old, and so they're very close in age, and I was working at a sales company as a sales manager for an inside sales team. And I was really fortunate to have worked there because they gave such a long maternity leave. And I think by the time that I had Tovi and 3 or 4 months back, so Tovi's my youngest, I had already been on maternity leave for a good minute. And so I just realized that I wanted to be home with them, and also too the cost of daycare. Like my paycheck alone was going to daycare, and my husband's was like covering the rest of our house. And so I didn't love that. And so it's like I'm working hard for someone else to be with my kids majority of the day. And on top of that, I mean, it was going to be like so expensive just to put Toby in as well. So all this to say, I wanted to work for myself and make some money and ultimately have the kids at home with me. And so started investing with you. And yeah, I've been able to replace my income plus more. And I've been really fortunate in that area to one, have you as a teacher, but also, I'm home with the kids now.
Exactly. And that
And
kind of did, so we did a lot of things over this break, but one of them is that you became, not maybe best selling yet, but you became an author with me
mm-hmm,
because we launched an ebook.
mm-hmm.
So do you want to talk a little bit about that? Or, I actually have it right here.
Yeah.
It,
So we've got From Daycare to Deal, and it's basically my story about how I used $500 to start investing um and ultimately build my financial wealth for my kids, and give myself and my family that financial freedom, and create multiple ways to save money, earn money, invest money, and all that thing. And all I did was $500. And
right.
so
Mm-hmm.
our ebook, it's only $17. But it basically, yeah, just tells my story about how we started investing.
Yeah, and I'm just going to read a couple of the things that we have in there. Of course, we have the dedication and about the authors who
Mhm.
I helped co-write it. But some of the things we talk about in the book is the daycare dilemma, which I want to just jump right into that. So, kind of what inspired the book was that video that went. Is 10,000 views in 24 hours viral? I don't know.
I don't think it's viral,
It's not
but
viral, but
it's
it was the
more, I
most.
mean, yeah.
So yeah, we did a YouTube short, and I mean, it was crazy. It got so many views in a short amount of time. Very interesting comments, though. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, some were kind of negative because I remember I called you and I was like, "Why are these people saying that?"
Yeah.
So we definitely hit a nerve. And if you haven't seen it, go back out there on our YouTube channel. But some of the comments were, "You should have planned better," because it was
Mm-hmm.
about, are you
Or not have
working?
kids.
Yeah, or not
I
have
was like,
kids.
okay.
I think they missed the entire.
They didn't read the caption.
Yeah.
I mean, because ultimately, like, so this YouTube short, it was just basically talking about how all of our money goes to daycare costs. And you have to create a hook to get people to view your reel, and people would see the hook and then they like didn't go look at the actual caption. And so they had all, but then there was some that were like, yeah, it was positive. Like I found another way to make money, um, or they agreed that daycare costs are ridiculous. And ultimately, at the end of the day, like, especially, and I just have a funny story, especially as we're, it's October, it's getting a little bit colder here in Dallas, a false fall. And whenever Bear started daycare, I I mean, seriously, it was like what, like almost $900, $1,100 a month. And he went to school maybe 2 weeks at total out of the whole entire month because he got sick. He got everything. He like, and I mean, that was very frustrating because it's like you're paying for this daycare costs and then they get a ton of sicknesses. And, I know it's good for their immune systems and like ultimately, it helps them and that's natural. And I'm not saying just because you hold them at home, they're not going to get sick, but it just, yeah, we just were dealing with something almost every week, it seemed like.
And then he brought it home to your who Toby, who was younger at the time too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
so
I
it
mean, I
was,
was pregnant with him and then I was sick and then
and
we
then
had
you
to do
get
doctor
sick.
and it's
Yeah.
this whole rabbit hole. And then Toby, she gets, yeah, so it's just not fun. So that was another, um, so yeah, anyway, so this short, just I think a lot of people resonated with it.
Yes. And so then we said, okay, well, maybe we need to be writing more transformational. So that's really what the ebook is about. We
Mm-hmm.
cover things. Well, we came up with our new coaching. I don't think we had our coaching program. We had a coaching program, but now we have a more easier to follow coaching program,
Mm-hmm.
more affordable, and we call it the 54321 coaching program. And
Mm-hmm.
we really kind of outline what the coaching program is all about
Yeah.
in the ebook. But basically, what Kelcie and I taught you is, five different ways. I mean, there's way more ways to make money in real estate, but we focus on 5 ways to make money in real estate.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we have 4 modules that or you can consume them, watch them. They're all online and
Mm-hmm.
they're about maybe 60 to 90 minutes long.
Yeah.
You get access to them forever. um, you have 3 one-on-one coaching calls. You have 2 coaches,
Mm-hmm.
right? So sometimes, if you have something that's a little bit more, you need a deal analysis or whatever. The coaching calls are more like to make sure you understand the modules. But then if you have, like, you find a deal and you want us to help you analyze it, hey, we're always available for that. And then at the end of the coaching program, you have your own personalized action plan. So
Mm-hmm.
what we do is we customize the coaching just for you guys. So, but yeah, we talk about the daycare dilemma. That's actually one of our chapters that we talk about. We talk about our millionaire. We call it the Millionaire Mama method because it's the way that I do real estate. I've been investing for a while, and how I'm now teaching you.
Yeah.
And we've got real moms, real stories, real
Mm-hmm.
moms. So I think the thing is that we try to keep it real.
Yeah.
Like, you can do this, you don't need a ton of money or whatnot. It's so funny because Bigger Pockets, I got an email from them today, and they have 2 different stories of people who started with less than $5,000 investing. So,
Yeah.
it's very doable. You just need to know how to do it,
Yeah.
right? How to do it
Mm-hmm.
and what you wish you would have known. So, if you haven't gotten a copy of our ebook, pick that up. Um,
Where can they find it?
so we have a link. I'm working on getting the link on the website. I haven't
Mm.
figured out how to do that yet. But it's on our Instagram bio, it's on our Facebook, it's on our Google page. Or you know what? They could just reach out and email either you or I. And I don't know if we've ever shared our email address. So I'm Nancy at moneymakingmamas.com. And that's Macon with no G, right? And you are
Kelcie at moneymakingmamas.com.
the.
And also too, we'll probably just drop the link in the bio of this
Oh, yes,
podcast
we will.
episode.
Yes, we will. I've been trying to put the links like at the top so you don't have to read through the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, it'll be there somewhere. You could always comment, send it to me.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, $17 for a good investment or
Yeah.
whatnot. So, well, what else? Well, I want to talk about our trip to Mexico because we did,
Oh
since
my
we've
gosh,
been
you're
there.
all over the place.
I am. I didn't want it to be scripted because, that's how we roll sometimes.
Well, I was gonna bring up that we've been doing the I think we mentioned it on the last podcast that we were gonna start it, but I wanted to mention that we've been doing the webinars for foreclosures daily.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Let's do talk about
And
that.
yeah, so that's been really good. So yeah, we host once a month. It's normally on like I think it's Tuesday, the second or third Tuesday of the month, and we just do an hour long with foreclosures daily webinar. And if you don't know what foreclosures daily are, I'll let the spokesperson for them. explain
And
that.
then I have a little story to tell about Foreclosures Daily. So, Foreclosures Daily is a list provider service. So, I've been using them since 2018. And they have a list of, so we talk about off market properties, and that's how we find our off market properties. So, I've specialized in what's called pre probate. So, this means someone has passed away, they have real estate, and I reach out to them. So, in Texas, you can buy and sell property without, when someone passes, without actually going through probate court.
Yeah.
So I've kind of become an expert in how to do that and how to reach out. But they also have divorce. We did a seminar or a webinar on how to market to divorce people, how to foreclosures, they have
Yeah.
tax liens. I mean, you name it, they have it. Eviction list. So they reached out about a year ago and asked me. I was hosting at first. I was just hosting, and then
Yeah.
the owner called and said, "Hey, do you guys want to do your own webinar every month?" And we're like, okay, we'll give it a go. So we've been doing it for, I
Three.
think, 3 months now. We just had our third episode,
Yes.
and it's on their YouTube channel, foreclosuresdaily.com. You can go out there and find us. So they're sponsoring basically money making mamas. So after this last one, we've been, so I mean, we have like over 100 people so far every time we've done it. The 175,
Yeah.
so, and then
And
they.
just some of the topics that we've done is divorce leads. We've done and how to like handle those and like kind of logistics and things like that and how to yeah, just how to handle those. Another one we've done is marketing,
Mhm.
free marketing, basically how you can or marketing at a low cost. And what was the other one we did? Oh, ABCs.
Oh, yeah, ABCs of investing.
Yes,
Yeah.
ABCs of investing.
Yeah. So, and then what's been happening is then we've had people reach out, and so we're getting more of a
Traction.
traction, but also we've been working. I just talked to someone this morning from Florida.
Yeah.
So Money Making Mamas is, and then another lady called us. She was from Maryland because they're a nationwide list company. So that's been pretty cool. But the funny thing, very kudos to Kelcie. So the owner, I'm going to give him a shout out, Stephen Cantor. He called me last week and he goes, "Nancy, your daughter is beautiful." Now, Stephen he saw Kelcie. He's like, "I want her to have a bigger role." Because she is the epitome of their audience of new investors.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're going to set the webinar. Usually I'm doing most of the talking. Kelsey's going to be doing it. So now what we're going to do is we're going to shift it around. Unbeknownst to Miss Kelcie, I called her and I said, "Guess what? You're going to be doing more talking on the webinar." And because he felt like your message really resonates with the listeners,
Yeah.
because most of the people that come on the webinars are newbies,
Yeah.
people that are interested in, well, how can I, market to these, and how can I talk to the distressed sellers? Because when we teach real estate investing, I'm a real estate broker. I can go on the MLS, but really where we find our deals is off market property. So when we talk about divorce lists and foreclosure lists and pre-probate and probate, those are folks that are going through some kind of financially
Yeah.
distressing, emotionally draining situation. And we talk about how to market and how to talk to those sellers. So
Yeah.
Kelsey's going to start taking a more active role in that. So
Yeah.
I know you're excited.
Yep.
So,
So excited.
so I think our next one coming up is November 16th. So I think
No, it's
that's the
not because
next.
that's a Sunday.
Oh, okay. So
It
it
has
must
to be
be
the 18th then.
18th, somewhere around there. So, but it'll be where I create an event, which I'll be doing this week about it, and then we have one in December. But yeah, you're right. It's like this third Tuesday, I think, in the month. But anyway, so that's been really good and giving us a lot of exposure. And also we get ideas for either the podcast or what investors are looking for, because they can ask questions on the webinar,
Yeah.
which has been nice. So it's been good. Um, we also have a newsletter now.
Yes.
Now, okay, I named it, you're the more creative marketing person, but I just named it Wisdom and Wealth. So I don't know, maybe we'll change the name. Maybe our viewers could like weigh in on that. I was just like, okay, I want to do a newsletter or whatever. So, and the way we're doing you do have to subscribe to it because we
Yeah.
don't want people to be annoyed by it. So you
Yeah.
can, and I do put that in the description of the YouTube channel.
Mhm.
Um, And so we just do different articles, but one of the things I think is really cool is we don't just focus on real estate investing because it's wisdom and wealth,
Yeah.
things that you need. And one of the things I decided that we would do is like the AI hack of the month,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Because we do use AI tools,
Yeah.
and
And we've talked about that.
yeah, we've talked about it like Gamma and stuff. And actually, this last the newsletter I just did, I talked about I think Gamma, either this one or the last one before. And Gamma, if you don't know, you can basically put your idea in there and it'll create a presentation that looks super duper really
Mhm.
nice.
Mhm.
And somebody that I know said, "Oh, I've been using that for years or
Yeah.
whatever." So it's really kind of cool to see what all these new tools are. So
Yeah.
okay, so I kind of jumped around. So your turn to pick a topic.
Well, I feel like that's all the money making mama stuff that we've been up to. I mean, it's just been fun. It's been nice. Just more and more people. There's been more and more like almost I can't even think of the word, but more like people being that have related to us.
Yes.
And so that's been exciting because we've been, kind of more out there. And I think and we talked about this like a couple episodes back, or oh no, I can't remember. But we talked about basically just kind of like one of the things when you start a small business or when you start a business, um, it takes a little while to like kind of find your niche, and you got to do your messaging a couple times to really refine it. And so I feel like we're finally getting to that point of like we've always kind of known what to talk about and how to relate to our moms, but now it's like it's really resonating. And
And
so that's been kind of exciting.
yeah, I think because we're talking more about transformation,
Yeah.
right? The transformation of, and I think it was kind of cool for us to take the break because, yeah, we did do some personal things and then, we took a trip and
Mhm.
then I had some health things I had to take care of. What is that? It's a bee getting older. And
Mhm.
so, but I had just kind of quickly, for women out there in my age group that might go through the same thing, so I had some blood work come back and they thought I had either Hashimoto's or Graves' disease. And I was like, hey, what is that? I don't even know. And it's rare to have both of them, So I was having this blood work done all over the place. And that took like 6 months to go through a process of,
Yeah.
and first they thought it could be, I was getting B12 shots from a store. And so my doctor said, stop doing that because you don't know what's in that,
Yeah.
they're not regulated or anything like that. And then because B12 vitamins can also, there's something in there that can trigger your blood. Anyway, so I stopped taking those. And then I started working with a nutritionist.
Yeah.
And then my husband, he had a big birthday in August. So he said, you know what? I'm going to start exercising. And, our grandbabies, Kelsey's kids are 3 and 2,
Busy,
and
busy.
they are busy. So we've both made some health choices, nutrition wise, uh, health wise,
And
and
walking
and
more.
walking, and we've been walking almost like every day. So
Yeah.
yay.
I'm proud of y'all.
Yeah, I've lost like 20 pounds. So hopefully, I don't know if it shows on the camera or not, but that
Yeah.
was kind of a good thing.
Yeah.
But anyway, so after 6 months of doing all this, I went back and I had to wait 6 months to see an endocrinologist. And I went, and then everything was fine. So
Yeah.
I don't have any of those. So that's good. But I
Yeah.
think it goes to show, like, if you as you age, if you don't,
Yeah.
kind of pay attention to what you're putting in. So I wasn't a big drinker anyway, but I don't have very many cocktails, and so I do now. I want to bring up Mexico because in for my birthday this year, in September,
And y'all's
and our
anniversary.
anniversary, which is like just a few days apart, I said, "Oh, hey, let's go to Mexico." And we took Kelcie and Zach and the kids with us. We went to an all-inclusive
Yeah.
resort. And yes, we have a little bit of alcohol. And so this resort, it was so cool. It was just beautiful. Oh my gosh. And Legacy Travel, we used Hannah there. She just did an awesome job getting us. We had like a suite,
Yeah.
connecting rooms. We were close to everything. There was a concierge in the building. Direct flight from Dallas. We didn't have any issues. And
Yeah.
so the alcohol that they pour, I mean, they had a heavy hand. They had all the top shelf things that you
Yeah.
would want if you ever been to an all inclusive, but
Mhm.
they didn't have wine. So, and I do like my wine. They didn't serve wine like at the pool or any. And
Oh,
remember,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
and at the restaurants, um, You had to be a member to like I asked for some Pinot Grigio one night and they was like, "Oh, you have to be a member." And the guy did, but wine was not a thing there.
Oh, so did you have to end up paying for wine? Because
And we
they
didn't
make
have to
you.
pay. Well, that night of my birthday, we did have to pay
Oh
for
yeah, that
wine,
one.
but we had credit, so we just paid for
Yeah.
that. But I am happy to say, at an all-inclusive resort, I only gained a half a pound. So I thought that was pretty good. I came back,
Yeah.
but because I exercised,
Yeah.
they had the pool thing, they had some water aerobics, and so it was a fun time, and it was good regeneration and everything.
It was. It
Yeah.
was a lot of fun. And it was our first time taking the kids like out of the country. Granted, it was just like, yeah, again, all inclusive. It was really easy because literally um we booked the transportation. So it's like the hotel picked us up, went straight to the airport, stayed there all week, left the resort, went to the airport, went back home. So it was kind of nice. And it's funny because me and Zach are not big all inclusive people. Like we always get worried that we'll just get bored. And the kids definitely kept us busy. I feel like that resort, we stayed at Iberostar River Maya or something
Maya
like that.
Parisia, Selecto
Yeah.
Parisia. Mhm.
It's in Cancun or kind of in Cancun or right near it. And yeah, we stayed there and it was amazing. They had so much to do for the kids. Like I just feel like we didn't even
Oh
actually
yeah, yeah.
do all of it. But they had a ton of fun. They had like a splash pad for them that was a pirate boat, which my kids are both very much into pirates right now. And then they had like a lazy river. And Tovi, my daughter, was so funny because she'd just be like, animals, 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 and then leopard, leopard, because they had like little animals all around the lazy river. And then they had like, I mean, I think it was like three pools, two of them connecting, and then one of them was a wave pool. And so it was just a lot of fun. And
And
then
the
right on the
beach.
beach,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was right on the beach. You could go to the
Yeah.
beach and everything.
And then they had shows. So we did a pirate show one night for the kids. And then I will say it's stunk that the power ended up going because it's on a peninsula. So the power ended up going out one night, except for in the rooms, which was kind of nice. But they weren't able to do this crab show, which
Oh,
I feel
yeah.
like my daughter would have loved. But she got to see a turtle, so it was all good. But yeah, it was really, really
It
fun.
was fun. It was fun. Yeah, we
And
just
it was funny because I have to tell this story. So Bear's 3, Toby is 2. And Bear was super super adaptable. Like I mean as you expect a 3-year-old, like he had like his little moments, but majority of the time he was pretty adaptable. Like okay, it's time to go to bed. Our schedule was so off. Toby on the other hand was like she was like 100% or 0%, and my girl likes to sleep. And so when she's like not tired, she's up and she's just wild and crazy and just so funny and goofy. And anyways, she ended up so anyway, wasn't the best sleeper all throughout the week or whatever, and we ended up getting in the Uber. We landed at 2:30. We get in the Uber at 4. She sleeps from like 4 to 4:30 in the Uber. Get home. I'm like, okay, let's just keep them up until 6 and they'll go to bed early. They were definitely tired. And we ended up putting her to bed at 5 and she slept all the way until 8 a.m. I mean, it was crazy. Crazy, crazy. So yeah, it was a lot of fun though. We just yeah, all inclusive was the way to go. My kids definitely, if again, toddlers, parents of toddlers will understand this, but Bear lived off of pancakes, chicken nuggets, fries, and ice cream. And Toby lived off of those chocolate donuts, fries, sometimes chicken nuggets, and maybe some noodles here and there. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it was fun.
I was like, you guys need some nutrition after that trip. No, it was a lot of fun. So we had a good time and it was fun to go to the beach and the water was actually really nice and yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It was a good time. It was a good time.
Mhm.
So,
I feel like it went by in a blur.
mhm.
I actually didn't feel like we didn't get like we got good quality time but like didn't at the same time because I feel like the kids were just like all over the place.
They were just busy, 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 busy.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And it's funny, we just went to talking about their busyness. And it's just so funny because that fall fest, we haven't really talked about it, but so we went to this fall fest at our church Sunday night, and it was really cool. They had like a line of trunk or treats, which you guys did, and then they had all of these rides for bigger kids, and then in the building they actually had like a whole area for preschoolers. And so when you walk in, there's a bounce house on this side, and there's a bounce house on this side, two ends, and then they had everything. They had a coloring activity. They had adopt a chick. And so like someone had, did you see those?
No, so like a little chick, like chicken.
Yeah, like so it was a yellow pom pom. It was a
Okay.
bigger, it wasn't like a live thing, but they did this. They had hay, and they would have the kid pick out the chicken. And it had like two googly eyes and a little beak, and they had it pick out the chicken, and then they had a little, like, you know, at Build-A-Bear, like the boxes that you bring the
Mm-hmm.
bear home in. Okay, so they had like a little duck box that they had the kids put the hay in, and then they asked them what they wanted to name them. And of course, Toby's like Chicky, and Bear named it Duck. And then they write their names on it. And but I will say we unfortunately lost Chicky yesterday at Costco.
Oh,
So
there's that stuff.
but yeah, and then they had like the bounce houses Bear was all about, and then they had this like it was farm themed. So they had this like section where it was like these roosters and then eggs in them and then counting baskets. And Toby was just all about those eggs. But man, those kids, I mean, one end to the end within like 5 minutes. I lost Bear at one point. Like he just
They're
ran off,
busy,
and I didn't, and
busy.
I was actually talking to a mom, so lesson learned.
Yes.
And next thing I thought he was in the bounce house, and next thing I knew, he's like, I mean, I didn't know where he was, and then
A little scare
a
moment.
little scare moment. It was not fun. I did not like that part, but he ended up being by the on the other end next to the other bounce house. So I would see Zach in passing with Toby. Yeah.
Well, one thing that we did, Brian and I did, and we're going to do a video. In fact, I have put it together for you to check out
Oh.
before I do it on Instagram. But we built the kids. We did
Oh yeah.
our a big rehab slash renovation project for our grandbabies. We built them a playhouse.
And it's
And
not like a little playhouse.
yeah,
It's a
it's
big
like
playhouse.
4 foot by 8 foot. It's 8 foot tall or whatever. And we didn't have to put a roof on it because it's underneath our patio. So we had ideas of grandeur that, oh, hey, we'll make these for other people or whatever. But yeah, it only took us a couple weeks to make it. I mean, we were working on it part time. So I actually did a video that'll be on my Instagram, Nancy Wallace Lobbs, that shows kind of like from the time we go to Home Depot to the finished product. And that was a lot of fun to do.
It's
So
cute too.
yeah, it's very cute. And we had
And
stayed
the kids love it.
when we were in Galveston. We had stayed at a beachy house,
Mhm.
right? But earlier this year, and it was painted really cool colors that I
Yeah.
was like, oh my gosh, I love these colors. So it's like the house is green, and I trimmed it out in orange, and
Mhm.
it sounds. You have to see the pictures, so you have to go there. And if you're not following me, follow because I am trying to get 1,000 followers by the end of the year. I'm at like 922. So help me out. How to help a girl out and follow Nancy
Mhm.
Wallace Slobs. So that was a lot of fun. So we've been doing, but in between all of that, we still been looking at houses. We just haven't found anything.
Mhm.
But tomorrow we're going to go to another one. And I wanted to say a little bit about wholesalers. So, because in addition to marketing for our own properties, I am on many wholesalers' lists, and for two reasons. One, because sometimes I actually find deals through a wholesaler, and two, I like to see where they're finding deals. So, a couple weeks ago, one of my wholesalers that I use a lot, they sent me a property, and I was like, oh my gosh, this looks like the perfect deal, and I wanted to
Mhm.
go look at it. And so you always have to do your due diligence, right?
Mhm.
So I ran comps, meaning I ran the numbers to see if the number they were selling it for, was I getting it at a deal. And as I started digging into it, I was like, well, where are they? Because they'll send their comps too, but they
Yeah.
won't send like how close they are or whatever. So I started digging into this property, and I was like, well, why are they using comp numbers that are over 2 miles away?
Right.
Because if you're going to run your numbers, you want to do it
Mhm.
within a quarter to, half a mile, because you want
Right.
to make sure you're in the same neighborhood, the same HOA,
Yeah.
whatever it is. And then on their lease comps, because what they'll do is they'll say, okay, here's the sales comps, here's what the average sales price is in this neighborhood, and then they'll do the same for the lease. Well,
Yeah.
the lease numbers that they gave were on properties that were 3 miles away.
Mm.
So I actually reached out to the main guy, and I was like, hey, oh, first I reached out to a new wholesaler. Just for whatever reason, she got my name. And I called her, and I was like, hey, I have some questions about these comps, because I don't know if you guys know this, but on wholesaling deals, you can negotiate. I
Yeah.
mean, doesn't mean that they're going to do it. But anyway, I said, well, where'd they get these numbers from? because I'm not coming up with the same comp numbers. And she didn't know because she was new. And so she actually called the person and then called me back and said, oh, when I say she called the person, she called the wholesaler who was representing the deal. And he told her, oh, well, we're using, I'm doing it just like an
Yeah.
appraiser does. And I'm like, no, he's not, because appraisers don't use 3 mile away properties, none that I know of. So long story short, I ended up contacting the owner of the company, and I was like, hey, this is not, I take me off your list if this is how you're going to do it.
Right.
So it turns out that he was not aware that
Mm-hmm.
his acquisition managers, they call them, were doing that they were just trying to sell the deal. Now, if I was a new investor and I didn't know,
Yeah.
then I might be going, oh, wow, this is a really good deal. But when I ran my own numbers, they were like $100,000 off on the
Yeah.
property
That's
price.
major.
So that is major. So I was like, that was kind of a red flag for me that, hey, so if you are going to work with wholesalers, as far as like finding properties, then make sure you know how to actually analyze the deal,
Right.
because in that case, if I didn't know what I was doing, I could have been overpaying by 100 grand.
Yeah.
That was scary.
Mm-hmm.
I was there, this is a company that I use all the time. I'm not going to say their name.
Yeah.
Yes. But I was kind of shocked,
Yeah.
and I think they were too.
Mm-hmm.
So just kind of FYI. But yeah, we're gonna go look at a house, and we always talk about, okay, it's our criteria. So when I've gotten a lot lately that were built in the 40s, like 1940,
Mm.
and that's just not. I don't have the stomach for it.
Yeah.
I mean, can you
I know.
imagine?
And there was another house too that was actually a really good price, but just and it was backed up right next to a parking lot. And that
Mm-hmm.
was like not, I think some people would be like, oh, that's such a good deal, the price and everything. But it just literally, I mean, yes, I know that they're not going to build anything more on that because of the building. But yeah, it was right next to a parking lot.
Yeah, and then you have to look at like the
And
lights.
it was right on like the building like the lot, I guess. There is a main entrance, but there's a back entrance, and it was literally right next to the back entrance.
Yeah. So
So it's like, yeah, that's a good deal money wise, but it's not a good. I mean, I personally would not like to move into a house like that. I've talked about it before.
mm-hmm.
Um, living next to a busier street.
Yeah, especially when you have kids. And that's whether you
Hmm.
have a rental,
Yeah,
or because when even on a rental, I've looked at properties, and it's like on a hugely busy street, and
yeah,
I always think, oh my gosh, what if the little kids ran out the front door and just
yeah,
ran, because they don't know. So,
right,
but
yeah,
yeah, so when you're even if you're using wholesaling, so it's one thing like when we're looking at properties, whether we're negotiating with the seller directly or we're looking at a wholesale deal, we're still always doing our numbers and
yeah.
doing our due diligence. So I thought that was very interesting though. But yeah, tomorrow we're going to go so we can report on that one. Um, like if we think it's a deal. But right now it looks like a good deal.
Well,
So
that's
I'm
good.
excited.
Yeah,
I'm excited. So,
yeah. I know the pictures look good.
yep. So, cuz we're looking at for properties that don't do that, we can kind of turn a little bit more quickly.
Yes.
And so the 1940s, 1950s, I just have like, oh my gosh, I just think about the pipes,
Yeah, I mean that's the
uh,
first thing that comes to my mind.
electrical,
Mm-hmm.
just old, like,
Yeah,
could have asbestos, could have lead paint.
yeah,
And some people do really good with those. I think it goes back to that having your own crew kind of thing.
yeah.
So,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, we've had a lot of stuff going on this past few, as I'm almost tired talking about all the stuff that we've done this last.
I do have a little, like, I guess switching topics and a little downer one, but my sweet girl puppy Kyla, she passed away. She was 10 years old. Um she had like a crazy rare aggressive blood cancer situation, but it was really hard because it was quite the whirlwind. So we knew, so back in, oh, I don't know, we probably talked about it on the podcast,
Yeah,
but
we
we
did.
did. She had a surgery like about 5 months
6 months.
ago,
Yeah, 6 months ago.
6 months ago, and it was a 50-50 if she would like make it through. She was basically bleeding internally. And anyways, they said, hey, if you don't treat this, ultimately she has 6 months to live, like 4 to 6 months, and 6 months being the lucky part. And so here we are coming up 5 months, and or 5.5 months, I guess. And you called me right before, the day before we were supposed to go to Mexico,
Day before.
that she was just kind of not eating, and her gums were a little bit wider, and all this stuff. And I came over here, and so I had this, oh my gosh, are we gonna have to put her down right before, because she was getting boarded. And so I come over, and I couldn't do it. She was so lively and just so like puppyish and like playing, and I just told mom, I was like, I couldn't do it. I was like, even if we, and I hate to say this now, but if she goes to the boarding place, like at least like I felt like in that moment it was more of crossing off something on my to-do list, like, oh, put Kyla down, like,
Hmm.
before we go to Mexico. And
And like
so
you said, it was still in her eyes. She
yeah,
still
she
had
was so
life in.
lively. And so
Hmm.
anyways, so she ended up, and I just, I've kind of known this about Kyla. She's a go, go, go girl, and she would sprint her little heart out. She played so hard. And so I had it in my mind that I just kind of knew that she would go 100 and then like zero. Like I knew that that's kind of the way that she would go out. And so anyways, we ended up boarding her, and like she did fine and played a ton. And I'm so happy
They
she got that time. And
because they have a pool and
they have a pool,
they
and
gave her. They said she did really. I mean, she was just playful
yeah.
and yeah.
And then we get back Tuesday.
Tuesday, I picked her up Tuesday.
And then kind of Wednesday night she took a downhill, and then Thursday morning you told me to come over, and yeah, just knew. She told me it was her time, and so it was really hard, but it was really
And it was really sweet
peaceful.
because dogs know. Because
Yeah.
Wednesday night she was not getting up, and then Thursday morning when I got up, she normally sleeps with us, and she was on the
Hmm.
couch. I couldn't get her to go outside. She wouldn't go
Yeah.
out, and so when Kelcie came over, so we have a like a doggy pillow. So I
Hmm.
actually moved her to the doggy pillow, and when Kelcie came over, now for since that morning, so this is like 4 or 5 hours now. Kelcie comes over and she stands up and
Hmm.
she wagged her tail and she
Hmm.
lay back down, but she greeted Kelcie.
Yeah.
And then you were able to say goodbye to her because
Yeah.
then shortly after that, we rushed her over to the vet. And I
Yeah.
mean, we barely got her there in time.
Yeah.
She was going out, but she was a good dog and just,
Yeah, and that's a whole thing. It's hard because like I know we talked about this, but like, yeah, she's my, like I picked her out myself. Like I know
she was
she
your
lived
first
with,
baby.
she was my first baby. And then it's hard too because the kids, like they don't fully, I mean, I think they like kind of get it, and like now like kind of out of sight, out of mind. But those first couple days, them being like, "Where's Kai Kai?"
No,
And
Bear asked this past weekend, he's like, "Where's Kai Kai?"
yeah, and then this morning, we have a picture of at the lake house of him as a baby, and Kyla's in it. And so, I mean, I just tell him that she's up playing with all the other puppies, but we just won't see
Chasing
her
bunnies.
anymore. Yeah. And so that was really hard. It's still kind of, it hurts a little bit. I haven't
Raw.
been able, it's raw. So
Mhm.
that was sad, but and I don't know, just it's different. So
Mhm.
that kind of,
And then my dog Murray,
yeah,
he well, he is adjusting to being an only dog,
yeah,
and I think he's liking it because he's much calmer. So he's
yeah.
like a Havanese, and so he's calmer. So yeah, we've just had a lot of things.
Mhm.
We kept saying that we were going to sit down and do a podcast, and then something
Mhm.
happened, and anyway, so I think we're back on track.
We're getting there.
To for the last oh my gosh, it's going to be November here just in a few days, right?
Yeah.
Few days.
Yeah, Halloween's coming up.
Yeah.
So the
So
kids, yeah, they're
we're going out with a bang though, Money Making Mamas. So I'm excited about the ebook, about the
yeah,
newsletter, and I agree with you. When we saw that video go viral, and we also
viral.
well, not viral, but viral for
Viral
us, right?
with quotation marks.
Okay, yeah. Viral for us,
Yeah.
okay. But we also we've mentioned this before, we use Vista Social.
Yeah.
And so they send a report every week. Well, that the last couple weeks they've sent a report, but they've also sent an email because of the growth that we've had and the engagement. So they're like
Mhm.
they'll say, "Oh, wow, you did like
Mhm.
1,957% or something." So we appreciate it. And if
Yeah.
there's I think, but like you said, it's taken we've worked on the messaging for this whole year.
Yeah, it's like we've always had the message, like we've always known like this is how we want to help moms, and ultimately how they can help grow their wealth and whatnot. But I guess we just it's real estate I think is one of those, I feel I can sneeze. I hope I'm not okay.
There you go.
There we go. Um But real estate, I feel like is such a topic, and such an intimidating topic of like, oh, you need like tens of thousands of dollars to invest, and you have to do a flip, and you have to X, Y, and Z and all this stuff. And really, it's as simple as taking $100 or taking your 401k. Like, for me, one of the ways that I invested was when I quit my company I was working at, I had this 401k that was just sitting there and it wasn't doing anything. So then we took it and we invested in it and now it's growing. Yes, I can't go out to and do a Target spree from that money, but ultimately it's helping grow my kids college or if they want to or go towards their future house if that's not the road that they want to go and or a wedding because we know those are stupid expensive.
Exactly. And they're like,
So,
oh, right. And I think
yeah.
that's the thing in the ebook when we talk about for
Yeah.
daycare, because the subtitle is, how moms are turning $500 into financial freedom. And we're
Yeah.
really talking about you can take small steps.
Yes.
You don't have to have a ton of money. You don't have to, and it is. So if you think about like transformation, people get overwhelmed,
Yeah.
right? Because it's like, oh my gosh. But then when you start listening and you start just doing and taking the little steps that we talk about in the book, you're like, oh, okay. Like how we're doing now, like doing the webinar for
Yes.
Foreclosures Daily, the newsletter, the YouTube channel, the podcast. I mean, who knew?
Yeah.
And I mean, you're keeping up on the social media. And I mean, so I think the growth is really cool because I feel like we're making an impact.
Yeah.
Because one of the things, and I'll be able to, well, I have a surprise about the book. I'll just wait because
Okay.
I'm working on something where we're able to give back with the proceeds from the book. So
Okay.
we've been talking to a couple of nonprofits
Yeah,
that
you've
we're,
been more on top of that than I
yeah. So, oh, and then we're going to be on a radio show
have.
in December.
You haven't even told me about those.
Yeah, I'm excited. So, this radio show, I think it's called Word of Mom or something like that. Anyway, we're booked for December 3rd
8.
or 8th. Yeah, thank you. So we have that. And then we have a couple other podcasts that we're just working out dates. So people are coming to us to say, hey, can you guys be on there? And it's really about Kelcie, right? Because Kelcie is the
It's
face of
not.
Money Making Mamas.
It's not. My face, your brain.
Okay, there you go. But it's been fun.
Mhm.
So,
Yes.
okay. All righty. Well,
Well, we appreciate, anybody who's been kind of holding out and still with us. And we appreciate any follows, likes. If you want to send this to someone, please do comment, like, subscribe on our YouTube channel. That would be great. And yeah.
yeah, and I'll throw this out too that we are looking for, and for 2026, we're looking for speaking engagements
Mm,
that we can participate in, or some kind of sponsorship, or we can sponsor an event or something like that. So,
yeah,
yeah.
definitely. All
All
right.
right, Kelcie. Hey, good to
Until
see you.
till
Good
next
to
time.
be podcasting again. So,
Uh-huh.
all
Yeah.
right.
Love you.
Love you too.